Hello, welcome to the Black Salt Mirror. We're hanging out here today. He always gets excited when I get ready to do these readings. I wonder if there's an energy that comes in that he can feel, like the storms. He can always feel a thunderstorm coming, sometimes 3 days before it does. And unfortunately, sometimes he gets a bit scared. And I don't know if it's the pressure that he's sensing or if he can hear something in the air. I've heard that horses can sense earthquakes before they come. It's kind of wild. I have some interesting decks for you today that I don't usually pull out. We've got one of Céline Melville's, Flette de Lune. She's French. She has her own website and all of her decks are in French, but her decks are fantastic. And we're going to use the Night Visions, which I got on Etsy. I don't see where that's from. If you're curious, I can post links. But, what, baby, what? Some days you just have to play. It's like a dance break, but it's a play break. And it's always important to have those moments because you don't know when you'll get them again. And it's usually not when you plan. There he goes. Huh? You just, the whole time. It's a necessity. Babies usually have a few things they cry for, like food and a diaper change because they're tired. He's the same. He'll beg for certain things. He'll beg for food, a walk. He'll also beg for playtime. It's very important that you remember these things. It's one of the many reasons that I have him, is to get myself out of my own head and to remember what the really meaningful things are in life. All right, let's do 4. Typical Lenormand spreads are 4. If you guys know Lenormand, maybe you can try to read along with me here. We've got, I believe this is the woman. I have a look. This deck comes with a little card. We can look it up. 29. Ace of Spades. Oh, there's another female figure. 29 again. I wonder if there are 2 women in this deck. Another Ace of Spades. It's probably the same card. I think that's it. I can't tell if it's a 4 or a 6, but it's the King of Hearts. The number's up in the corner there. This is the House. And the Snake, the Queen of Spades, which is my favorite card because we used to play hearts. And she was 13. I always like the villains. However, the Snake is 7. All right, let's see what this says here. 29 is Lady. Where's House? It is a 4. Home, family, security. 7. Seduction, betrayal, lie. So with Lenormand, you have a subject. And this is 2 women. Something's going to change in your living situation. It could be that you live with another woman. It could be maybe your mother. It could be that your mother's coming to live with you. But there's going to be a betrayal. This is very interesting. I'll pull tarot cards for the same thing. When I've learning Lenormand for a while, it's a much more simplistic than tarot, partly because tarot will give you as many cards as you want, and I always get a bunch to tell a story. So one time I asked how my day was gonna go, and I had a meeting that day, And the tarot gave me like 8 cards. And it was like, the morning's gonna go this way, and then the meeting's gonna go this way, and the Lenormand just said the meeting's gonna go well. And I know tarot better, so that's part of it. So for tarot, we got Temperance in reverse, the Devil in reverse, the Knight of Swords, the King of Swords. The Magician in reverse came out with the 7 of Cups upright together, Empress on the bottom. The Magician and the 7 of Cups is about not making a choice. You have to do a certain amount of muggle work, as some people call it, in order to manifest. You can't just sit and wait for things to happen. And that's what it's making me think about with the Temperance and the Devil together in reverse. You're telling yourself that you're assessing, taking in your options, waiting for the right moment. And I have to say, this reading is very much for me, as much as it is for any of you. If you're feeling it resonate and you're like, oh no, I'm being called out, you're not the only one. But the way the Devil and the Temperance are together, you are convincing yourself that you are being prudent and playing it safe, when in reality, the 2 upright cards of those 4 together are the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords. You need to take decisive, clarifying action, and you will be successful. The Empress on the bottom is upright, and she's a very positive card about fruitfulness and pregnancy, of ideas, thoughts, new beginnings. And I've been seeing this message floating around for a while now about a stagnant ending, that the beginning isn't being seized. You know that you've come to the end of something, of a cycle, and you're not taking the opportunity to move forward because you're trying to feel it out, because this is very different and you can feel that it's different. And so you're trying to be prudent about how you go forward with this. However, they're saying this is not prudence, this is fear, and you need to move forward. And you need to do it quickly, and you need to do it decisively. Because there's something stewing here. Interestingly, the Lenormand cards talk about something going poorly. The 2 women really fascinates me. Normally there's only one figure, a man, a woman, and a child, representing people. This deck has 2, possibly because she liked having the options of the different types of artwork. The one has the moon, and it speaks to me a lot about the 3rd eye, where the moon is here, and about knowing intuitively what to do. This is kind of the High Priestess energy. This is more of an Empress energy, or Queen of Pentacles energy. Nope. This got caught on the cord. There's a lot of movement energy around you that he's picking up on, that you need to take advantage of, because otherwise it's percolating around you and it's going to do something and you don't know what that is, because you need to be the one to guide it. You need to be the magician in this case, and it's a very physical thing. Lots of flowers. There is a moon in there, in her crown, if you can see it. It's almost like you have this amazing idea of how your life is gonna go, and you're afraid to let it manifest because it's so good it can't be true. It's so beautiful. Because in the tarot cards, what's missing? We've got Cups, Magician. Is it? No, Devil's Earth. I feel something's missing. It might not be an element, but there's something missing. I can feel it, and I can see an emptiness in the sword suit. There It could mean that you want to see the answers and you just can't, or you don't. I guess we could ask for clarity on this. What is the holdup here? I'm noticing that Temperance and the Devil are 14 and 15, so they follow each other. After the period of holding, there always comes the choices of the Devil, and you know something is going to be hard, and you know something is going to take a lot of your energy. 3 of Swords in reverse, 7 of Swords in reverse. Wow. Ace of Cups. We won't stop there. Get 2 more. And my finger hits the woman. 2 of Wands. Judgments. Chariot in reverse on the bottom. It's not a matter of willpower. It's a matter of your intuition. You have been through a lot of heartache and you have been backstabbed. There it is. And you know that extricating yourself from this is going to re-trigger you. Because of course it is. But happiness lies at the end here. And sometimes that doesn't matter. Because sometimes staying stationary is the most comfortable thing that you can do. And that really sucks. And I'm here to tell you that that really sucks. And a lot of people don't give you grace for things to suck. And they want you to be moving forward, and they want you to be looking on the bright side, and they don't give you the empathy to acknowledge that something sucks, and that what you're gonna do is really gonna hurt, even if it gets you something good at the end. There comes a point when you don't want to fight anymore. I was taking a bath last night and this image came through so strongly. It was about 2 fantasy series I read years ago, and both of them had a fighter character who'd been raised in underground fighting rings and who was very talented at fighting, and who was covered in scars, and who didn't want to fight anymore. And the message was, I'm really good at something I never want to do again. And I resonated very strongly with that. I think I've said that before. And it's like, even if this will end up in a new journey somewhere else, where you finally get your comeuppance in a good way, where you finally get what you came for. Judgment is the end of the train, of the line, and the people that wronged you will finally get what's coming to them, but you don't have the will. There's something oh, okay, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is below the Chariot in reverse. It's a physical thing. The physical things that you've done so much shadow work, you've done so much inner work, you've done so much strengthening, like you don't have the strength to lift your feet and walk forward to get your reward. Even if that means moving past this point you're sitting in that's uncomfortable and still has the things that hurt you around you. In the middle is joy. But you don't want to move forward. Spirit, this was not advice. This was clarification. One more. Pull. Sometimes, many times, tarot just tells you what it is, not what you need to do. They just clarify the situation for you. They repeat back to you what they're seeing. And you know that what you're experiencing is valid because that's what you're seeing. And they're saying, yeah, that's what's going on. Six of Cups. You have a gift coming. This came up in another reading. The Chariot. More willpower. Despite having wheels, the Chariot, if you can see behind the swing spots here, is sitting on the ground. It's a slab of cement and it's sitting on the ground. The wheels are totally decorative. They will not lift the Chariot up high enough to move it forward. Because the Chariot is about willpower. And it's Cancer. 10. The end of hardship. And it's wands, it's not swords. The wands you can manage, the swords you can't. When you get to the end of the swords, you're done. The end of wands, you've mastered. It's still hard. It will always still be hard. But you can carry it. And because of that, Saturn gives you a gift. Thank you to whoever commented about the Morrigan being Saturnian energy. That's had me thinking all day. Or since I saw it. Because it's a falsehood that there's a happy ending. Because everything that came before is still with you. It can still haunt you. That's why I've been getting visions of PTSD all day. About happy endings being a farce, a falsehood, a falsehood. It's imaginary. It is both wrong, but it's not just incorrect. It is a thing that people have put forward to represent the absence of truth. An alternative. They say you're going to be happy. You won't. You will always remember what happened. You will always carry your scars. Chiron, the centaur, in astrology, is the wounded healer. Canonically, he was immortal and he was a healer before he got wounded, and he was hit by a poisonous arrow. And it was the kind of poison that worked constantly. However, he couldn't die because he was immortal. So he was just always in pain. And he worked through the pain to heal people. A lot of people like to represent Chiron as the thing that you learn to heal and then heal in others, but that's not the mythology of Chiron. He was already a healer. He continued to heal despite being in pain. And he does eventually give up his immortality to pass so that he doesn't have to be in pain anymore. And that is unfortunately the morbid reality of existence, is that you don't go through an arc of healing and then come out whole on the other side. And you need to understand that. And I think it's part of what they're trying to say about why you're not moving forward, is the gift that you have is greater than all you've been through. And it's sitting on top of the Ace of Cups here. You're meant to carry something for others. And it has to do with your ability to see. I actually want another Lenormand card. Okay, the card on the bottom here is the clouds, and below it is the rider. The rider I know is a message. I'll look up what the clouds mean. The rider is number 1. Messages, news, movement. Clouds are 6. Confusion, trouble, challenge. Yes. When I saw this card on the bottom, it looked like the clouds are clearing and clarity is coming through. And the rider came out, and that's exactly what it is. There's clarity coming, a message potentially, or just the end of fog. could be different for depending on who you are. And I keep coming back to this with the moon and her third eye. You need to move forward for clarity. Not because you think it's going to heal you. Not because you have some fantasy about a happy ending. Although I do think you will be happier because you don't have all the troubles anymore that you've had up until this point. But they're saying that's not the point. And now the symbology of snakes is coming through to me again about shedding. Because you are the alchemist. And the magician came out so strongly in the beginning, upside down. Alchemizing gives you options. You create the options yourself. You particularly can pull them out of thin air. Some people, they have options in front of them and they have to kind of manifest towards what they're given. Like some people can't have anything because they can't pull. They've got 3 options and they can pick one and they can work towards it. But if they want something totally different, they're never going to get there because it's not something that they can magic. You can. And that's why you're the alchemist. That's why you had to chose. That's why you did choose, why you had to choose the path of pain. For some reason that I'm not getting right now. I knew before. It's fog now, so they don't want me to tell you. The alchemist always has the path of pain. And part of it's a necessity thing that you need the clarity or the short-sightedness. Because in a way, when you know everything, you're overwhelmed with options. An abundance of options can make you immobile. I have that problem when I'm shopping. But you're the Queen of Spades. If you've never played hearts, each heart is a point and you don't want points. And you draw them blind and then you bid them. Spades is played the same way. And I'm not sure anymore what the difference between the two is. But the Queen of Spades is 13 points. The Jack of Diamonds is negative 15, so he's a good thing. And then at the end you add them up and whoever has the fewest or fewer points wins. Unless you get a ball. It's called shooting the moon. And then you win. Because you got them all. Even though they were bad, you have them. And there's something about that in this message. About what looks bad being your greatest asset. Because you are not like the others. You are not built like the others. You do not come from where the others came from. And now the home is sticking out. You don't have the same homeland. Home space. I don't even think it's this planet. A planet. You're from the stars. And you need to go back to what you were and unlearn all of the things that you learned in this lifetime so far about how physics works, about how metaphysics works, about what you can do. Because now you can do it and you can pull anything to you. And there's something about another woman. I don't know if this woman is good or bad, or if she's in your life now, or if she's coming into your life. But I can tell you that you're the Empress. And you are your own greatest gift. And there's clarity on this coming to you. And if you seek it out, it will come faster and stronger. But for now, they want you to forge forward. And just to understand that what you're expecting isn't what it's going to look like. Because what you were taught to expect isn't how things work for you. Because you're the one that creates it. You're the alchemist. No one else can tell you how the story goes because you're the writer of the story. And I can feel something in your throat asking me what it means. And it means have faith in you and your abilities and your godliness and your own guidance. The original divinity was in you, and that's been taught away by many modern religions, that divinity is outside of you, but it's not, it's in you. We are all divine. You're divine in yourself, and you need to follow that. And you need to see that it's the end, and you can't stand in the rubble anymore. You need to step out and move forward. And see yourself as you are, in truth, and understand what that affords you. The power to manifest, among other things. And you need to do that, because otherwise you're not going to fit in here. Otherwise you're going to stay stuck and in pain. But if you move, you can find better. You can find things that bring you joy. You can fill your cup, despite what you've been through. And it will all make sense. Or at least preoccupy you, they say. Spirit doesn't like to sugarcoat things for you. They're not going to tell you that everything's going to work out great and that you're going to have this big happy ending and be free of all your troubles, because that's not how nature works. The troubles will stay with you, but you know how to rise above and be bigger than everything that came before. And that's what you're here for. And I'll leave it there. If you're still here, thank you very much. I hope this resonated with you. I hope these somewhat less than favorable messages at least assist in your journey to clarity. And I hope that you can find some solace in that. I love you. I will see you very soon.